So despite all of this money that Hashem gave him already, gave him the first two parts of this treasure, the third part he's going to give him after they cross the ocean. But the first two parts, already they lost their Emunah. Why? Material doesn't help our Emunah. Material hurts our Emunah. Having money is a more difficult test than not having money. Because to have a connection with Hashem is much more difficult if you're rich than if you're poor. If you're poor, you need help. So who are you going to cry to? Okay, your parents, fine. After a while, your parents say, okay, you know what, get a job. You cry to your wife, your wife says, okay, after a while, go get a job. Cry to your kids, Abba, don't cry to me, I have school homework right now. What do you want for my life? I still need money for my new PlayStation coming out next week. Get a job. You cry to your friends like, listen, buddy, I have my own problems, leave me alone. Nobody wants to hear you. Nobody likes a miserable person. Nobody wants to help a miserable person. Just a reality. Who are you going to cry to? You cry to Hashem. The biggest nightmare for a person is to not have money to feed his kids. Biggest nightmare. You can give him disease, chas v'shalom. You can give him all types of problems. Not having money to feed his kids, might as well go to a concentration camp. It's the biggest nightmare for a person. Whether it's a mother or a father, obviously mom is close to their kids, probably even more than the father is, but nonetheless, someone that cares about their children, which is most normal people, even the thought of not having enough of their kids can bring someone to make decisions that are against logic. Whether it's robbing stores, killing someone, or stealing, they'll do anything to feed their kids. They can't. They will go starving. They don't have a problem. But to have little kids starving, it's not an option. So someone poor has an easy time connection to Hashem if he wants. Someone rich, which is the same person as the guy that goes to the gym. First thing he looks at every morning, most of the time, if he doesn't have Torah already ingrained in him, he looks in the mirror, looks at himself. You ask him, how did you make all this money? The first word out of his mouth is I. I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. There's a famous legend about one of the Rothschild family members. I'm not sure if it's 100% true or not. It may be a different person. The story itself is true. I'm just not sure if it's them or not. That one of these wealthy people got to a point where they were so rich that they had a building where, in essence, the building was just, in essence, to support their gold. The only reason why they had this building was just to have this giant safe to have all their gold in it. And one day, this rich person came into their safe, their fancy safe with all this gold worth an infinite amount of money. And he says, you know what? One thing I know for sure is that even God can't make me go hungry. He has all this money. And at that moment, the automatic door of the safe shut. He could scream as much as he wants. All the employees already went home for the weekend. The employees thought he went away on vacation. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. No food, no drink, but lots of gold. Lots of diamonds. How much are they worth after a week? Nothing.
Nothing.
And that's why on the seventh day, he cut himself, and with his blood, he wrote on the wall what happened, this whole story. And at the end he said, Hashem proved me wrong. And he died on the 8th day. Money is not necessarily something you should pray for as much as we do. Because it's a very, very difficult test. I had somebody came to my Shiur last night. And, we're talking about Emunah, we're talking about getting closer to Hashem, talking about praying really serious. When you pray, it's good to go like this, which is a spiritual way of trying to get some of the thoughts out of your head and focusing on the prayer. He says, yeah, I praise that God gives me the ability to buy this condo. First he gives me this condo, and then he continues his speech. So I was going to say it, but sometimes I try to hold my tongue because I'm a little blunt at times. But one of the other guys couldn't hold himself. He goes, that's your dream? That's what, we just had Shiur Torah for 2 hours. We're doing everything. That's your dream, just to buy this condo? That's it? That's your ultimate dream, just to buy a house? Then what? Then what? Okay, you have a house right now. It's not like you're homeless. You have a house. Okay, so instead of paying interest on a mortgage, you're paying rent. It's not really that much different, by the way. I'm from the finance business. In reality, unless you're buying the house 100% cash, the first 15 years of your 30-year mortgage is complete interest. You're not benefiting in any way, shape, or form over a rent. The only way you're benefiting is if the house appreciates in value. If it goes from $200,000 to $300,000, then of course you made money on other people's money. But if the house goes down in value, then you're better off renting. But nonetheless, it's not a finance class. We're, focus on the Torah. You're thinking about, you just learn Torah, we're trying to get closer to HaShem, but the mind of most people is constantly dragging them to material. They constantly connect Hashem to material. If Hashem gives me this, then I will do this. This is not only a bad idea, it's a sin. You're not allowed to give Hashem conditions. Every day during our prayer, part of our prayer, we say that we're Hashem's servants. When was the last time a servant asked his owner of anything? The fact that Hashem allows us and even wants us to pray to Him and ask for things is already a benefit. It's already a chesed from Hashem to us. But when we're not really doing much for Him and treating Him like He's Santa Claus, give me this and then I'll be a good boy, it's not exactly a rational relationship, to say the least.
It's like behaving like kids.
Worse. At least the kid is a kid. He has an excuse.
Conditions.
We're just bigger. We're just bigger kids.